Okay. So
Sounds
now we'll
good.
just keep it clean.
Yeah. Good job, Mark.
Oh, I like your beard, Mark.
Thanks. It's for our promotional video for our district conference.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What's the theme? Santa?
Well, it's we're having it at the
Beards.
Cape. We're having a it's a dual conference with 7950 Charlene, and I'm King Neptune, and she's Little Mermaid.
Oh,
Oh,
too cute.
Yeah.
Hey, Nancy.
hi, Louisa. How are you?
Great.
Good.
Boy, a lot of faces I know.
Why do I keep
Ron.
disappearing?
It should be everybody you know.
So Louisa, you know we have a meeting Saturday morning, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, a pets meeting, right?
Yeah, Pat's meeting.
I didn't see registration on the agenda, but I thought I would at least listen to see how it's going.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll wait like 2 more minutes. Still people
Hi,
are coming in.
Pam.
Hi,
Steve.
everyone.
Hey there.
Hey Pam,
Hi,
how
Pam.
you doing?
Hey, everyone. Let me turn off the light.
Hey Steve,
Oh, Steve.
Hi.
Oh, where'd that beard come from?
where have you been? The last time you saw me, I had it.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's for a promotional video we're doing for a district conference. Yeah, I know.
Hey, get that little red hat, and you'll be all ready for Christmas.
That's it. Yeah. So Pam, has the big day come yet?
These beards are job security. That's what they are.
That's it.
No, actually, thank you for asking. Our trip got canceled 12 hours before we were leaving. The St. Thomas closed down.
Oh,
So we
I'm
changed
sorry.
plans and went to Cancun with the family to a resort for a week instead. And now we are getting married at our house on the 19th. So 9 days.
Oh,
oh, okay.
congratulations.
So things happen for a reason. So we're excited
That's right.
to be a family at our new house.
Yeah,
Doing
good.
wedding at the new house. With the
Good.
And no Zoom, huh?
no Zoom.
For your wedding.
Although I've had people ask, and I'm like, I just know.
Trish.
Doesn't work.
Oh.
Hi Trish, how you doing?
I'm good, Mark. Oh my God, Mark. You're looking, I don't know whether you look like a rabbi or Santa Claus. It's very hard to tell.
Maybe that's it, Mark.
That's
Rosh
it.
Hashanah's coming right up.
Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
we're just gonna call you Rabbi. Here you are.
Oh, you could actually call me King Neptune.
Oh, there you
You
go.
don't have your trident. You don't have your trident there.
I will.
Hey,
September
Kyle.
17th, I'll have my
Hey, Kyle.
train. Charlene and I have a dual conference. So I'm growing this for our promotional video for our district conference.
You know, you are really taking one for the team. Good for
I
you.
am.
You are good.
Actually, my wife's taking it for the team.
Yeah, well, that's what good Rotarian spouses do.
That's it.
You're right.
Well, let's hope
Okay,
they
so I
don't
think-
grow beards.
I think it's time to start, Jack.
Yeah, I think we're going to get going. So welcome everybody to our Million Mask Challenge Tour, which is all enabled by Ted Rossi. And he may come on this later. I'm hoping he does. But we're going to go ahead and start this planning. So Robert Friend is from District 7980, and I think you've all gotten emails from him.
Yep.
And he's going to be leading us through this. He's an expert at this kind of promotional event and everything. And so, Robert, take over.
Thank you, Jack. And I got to say that, you know, it takes a village, and I have villagers here in our public image and communications team in District 7980. First of all, you all know Trish Pearson. Our whole public image agenda began when she was district governor 3 years ago. So we're thrilled to have her here. She's part of the entourage. And Kyle Clark is our guru videographer and is heavily involved in the side of things. We also have several other folks that are not here, but needless to say, We have a core group of our public image and communications team member is going to be by the side of every district as we move through this agenda and move through this experience together, because this is an enormous weight that's on all of our shoulders, but it's got that work ethic involved in it, and it's got that giving aspect involved in it, which is enormous. We are, we're heading into the colder days, and we are, we've got the pandemic on our back, and we've got flu season upon us, and we just are moving into the unknown areas of our regions, and we need to make sure that the core people that are supporting our day-to-day living in each of our communities, whether it's first responders or essential workers, the grocery workers, the EMTs, our local healthcare providers, our local nursing homes, that they have the things they need to survive. And I just want to echo what Jack said. The work that Ted Rossi and the Rossi Family Foundation did in initially providing our district 200,000 masks back in March, April, that we distributed throughout our district. But now to have come back and provided us with another 800,000 masks that has helped us create this quote unquote Million Mask Challenge Tour is unprecedented. I mean, the financial contribution that his family has made as a Rotarian and as a philanthropist is enormous. And he's a major donor to Rotary as well. And he's also responsible for giving an enormous number of masks to the state of Massachusetts, to the state of Pennsylvania. And I don't know, Jack, what other states he's engaged with, but because he's part of the lumber market, he's got those connections internationally to help us do what we're doing. And it's amazing. And it's really allowed us, Jack, and our communications team to think outside the box and become very creative in the way that we thought we might do this. And I'm going to throw this back on Jack, because without Jack's incredible vision in regard to all this and his engagement and relationship with Ted, this would never have been on the table. So I want to give a round of applause to Jack for just an enormous amount of tutelage he gave to this project, and it's allowed all of us to get involved.
So Robert, Ted is now on the call.
Ah, great. Ted, where are you? Where is he? Oh, there he is. Hey, Ted.
Here.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Ted, I just sang your praises, and I want to welcome you to the call. You're on a call with district governors and district leaders from 8 districts around New England.
Oh, beautiful. Hi everyone.
And I, it would be great, Ted, if you wouldn't mind, is talk about your vision behind all this. If you could just take a moment, tell us where you how you came to this.
Well, it started out as a small project, or a small vision, if you would. It wasn't a vision. I really just wanted to help the state of Connecticut and Pennsylvania and Vermont, because I'm involved in all those states, back in March and April, sourcing PPE, because I just thought it was a very dysfunctional process, and the administration and the government was not doing a very good job putting their hands around it and taking control of it. So I basically turned my team. I've been involved in the Far East selling lumber and have a sales team and offices there. So I've been there since 1985. So we know the area very well, and logistically we know how to move around, and we have contacts. So I just said, forget about lumber for a month. Why don't we see if we can source some masks? And that's how it all started, was with the masks. And we were very successful in sourcing them. It wasn't so much on the pricing on sourcing them, because we did get good pricing, obviously, but we knew how to move the masks through customs, through the ports, through a lot of it went by air. We just knew how to move it. Logistics was a big problem, and it's been a problem ever since, really. And we were the only ones that could deliver. For the state of Connecticut, we delivered every single order. Pennsylvania, Vermont, we're the only vendor that delivered has agreed, and I don't know how many masks we finally ended up shipping to the states. Probably about 8 million masks went to the state of Connecticut, Vermont, and Pennsylvania. But through that process, it became evident that there was a big demand for masks, downstream. The states weren't distributing to the nursing homes or to the visiting nurses or to all those small groups that we at Rotary are involved in. So it started where I suggested to Rotary in East Hampton, I said, why don't I donate 10,000 masks, and you guys came out, or 20, I forget what it was. And they came out quickly, and there was a demand. And I said to Jack, why don't I give 20 or 30,000 to the district? And Jack and I collaborated, and we took it over. And obviously there was a huge demand, and there was more of a demand. He says, well, we need more. So I said, well, we'll do another 30,000. And we did another 30, and then another 30, and then another, and it just started to build. And I got all these thank you notes, and not that I want thank you notes, believe me, but it was evident that there was a huge need for small amounts of masks. I can't deliver small. I was delivering 2 million at a time, 500,000 at a time on a 2 million mask order to the states. So I said, this is perfect for Rotary. Why don't I facilitate the supply of masks that Rotary clubs can take and distribute in small lots within their communities? It's what Rotarians do. And I would be able to facilitate a much bigger mobilization of getting those masks to people who need it. And it just kind of snowballed. And then when I saw how successful it was, and then I got the price down a little bit on the masks, and my foundation was taking and picking up any extra profits that we made on masks that we sold to hospitals, we donate to charity. I mean, it actually became a charitable business, if you will. And so I finally said to Jack, I said, you know what? Why don't we just do it big? Why don't we do something for all of New England? And why don't we take and I'll bring in a container, a half a container, actually 20-footer, and we'll take 800,000 or 1 million masks, and let's distribute it to every district in New England if they need it. I said if they need it, and that was Jack. I suggested it to Jack, and Jack, did his Jack thing, and he went out and he called everybody. He said, there's a real need for this, and everybody's on board. And I said, okay, it's a big project, so why don't we name it? And we named it. Let's name it the Million Mask Challenge or something. And the challenge is for the Rotary clubs to distribute it. All I'm doing really is the easy stuff. I'm buying it, I'm getting it, I'm logistically getting it to you guys. You guys are doing the work. I don't have time to do the work. And as all my fellow Rotarians will tell you, that's the kind of member I've been. I travel a lot, I'm in business, I can't get to the meetings, but I contribute and I do what I can as a Rotarian so that other Rotarians have an opportunity to do what they do. And that's what I'm doing now. So I've been able to facilitate this purchase of 1 million masks, and I'm offering it to my fellow Rotarians in New England to distribute as needed within their clubs. And you guys are going to do the work. So that's
Thank you.
sorry to go on for so long, but that's
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
phenomenal. Thank you.
Ted, it's an amazing story, and we so appreciate it. And now you're right, the work, that's why we're here. We're here to talk about the logistics. We're here to talk about how we're going to work together to get this done. And we're talking about leveraging this in many, many different ways, because we have an opportunity. If you think about this from a public image standpoint, we have an opportunity to tell our story. If you think about this from a philanthropic standpoint, we have the ability to make sure we get these masks to people who need them, as Ted pointed out, and to make a difference in people's lives during this shifting time we're in, and really continue to do the good work that we do as Rotarians around the entire New England area. I want to get involved in the details of this. You should have all received the overview that was provided to you on Monday. We're going to walk through that document because I know many of you have questions. We're still learning here. This is a moving train. I'll call it the Acela because it's moving fairly fast. In 25 days, this event will be over. It's scheduled for October 5th through the 7th. And the idea is that sometime at the end of September, a boat will arrive, we think in Boston, having traveled from China through the Panama Canal, we think. Is that right, Ted? Through the Panama Canal?
That's right, yeah.
We will travel up the eastern seaboard and dock in Boston, and the masts will come off a skid or in a container off of that ship, and a skid from that container will be loaded onto a truck that is being arranged. That truck will be wrapped in a moving billboard story about Rotary. We will then engage in a tour that starts in Connecticut and moves from Connecticut into Massachusetts, into Vermont, into New Hampshire, into Maine, back down into Massachusetts, back into Rhode Island, and back in Connecticut. And that'll happen October 5th through the 7th. And our expectation is that at every point we stop, which is a major municipal stop, we will have an event. And that event will be a combination of distributing the masks and a chance for the media and local officials to engage and tell the story of what is going on in their community, but also to thank the first responders and our communities who have supported us and hand out masks to them. And with that is the challenge, as Ted was talking about. This is a Million Mask Challenge Tour. We've dubbed it that because the challenge is multi-tiered. The first challenge is we need to make sure that every mask gets distributed. It is imperative that every mask gets to somebody in need. The second one is that this challenge is driven to inspire Rotarians around the world, Rotarians in other areas to continue to do this. We want to tell a story that's not just local within our community. We want to use the whole public image platform as a way to extend that story. We've been in touch with the Rotarian magazine, with Rotary's media and marketing departments. We're waiting for them to get back to us to give us their next steps. We hope it'll be good to hear from, but Ted has made a connection with iHeartRadio, and iHeartRadio is going to be working with us throughout New England at all the stops. And we're also in the midst of preparing a documentary. We have a videographer that we are in the process of engaging with, and it's not final yet, but we're hoping that we can videotape and with footage as well as through photos, and create a short documentary of this incredible journey around New England, telling the story of not only Rotarians, but also of those in need, and how this is supporting our ability to traverse through this incredibly difficult time that we could be facing in the course of the pandemic and the flu season and the unknown, because we really don't know how this is going to flush out over the course of the next several months. So there's a lot of moving pieces here. And the third challenge is that, Ted has done an amazing job. We hope that Ted's story inspires other leaders in the community to say, hey, we want to be part of this. And so that's another avenue of dialogue that may be a benefit from this, but we don't know. But these are the challenging dialogues that we're having, and they will all have an impact on each of our districts, and each of our communities, and each of our vital areas of our community that are so in need of this protective equipment. So I'll leave it at that. But the challenge part of this, I wanted to give you all context about why that is there, and Ted alluded to it, and I wanted to expand upon it because it's real important. I want to jump into and open up. I'm going to share my screen because I want to go to the document, because that's really going to be kind of the detail that we drive through tonight. We really have to get into a rhythm as a team, because each of us in our own districts are going to be units of operating accountability. But we all have to work together like a flock, like a school of fish, or a flock of geese, or a pack of wolves, however you want to coin it, to move together in tandem to make this happen. It's going to take that. And so I know that there are a lot of players not here tonight because there's a lot of zone activity. So we don't have the DGEs, we don't have the DGNs. We've got the DGs and PDGs and other players that have been invited that could make it. But we're recording this because those that could not get here will get this recording and hear the story that is being created and told, so that everyone can get the context. So I'm sharing my screen.
Before you go, could we just get a sense of which districts are represented? It may not be the DG. I see PDGs. I see a whole array of.
Right.
Let's just a roll off of which districts are here so we know who.
Sure. That's a great idea, Trish. So I'm going to call out your name, and
okay, and what district you're from?
And what districts? Yeah, and you tell me who's here from that district.
Okay, good.
So I'll start with District 7980. Ron Webb, I think you're here, correct?
Yes, Ron is here.
Yeah. And Jeff Krause could not be here, and of course we have you, Trish, and Kyle, and me, and Jack, and I think that and Ted. And I think that's the 7980.
Nice is here. Let's go to 7890 next.
7890. Mark Glass, you're here, correct?
I am here. Yes, I am. Unfortunately, like you did mention, Joanne Alfieri, who's the DGE, and Randy Chappelle, who's the DGN, have zone training tonight. So they cannot join us.
Okay.
But we have an unbelievable response from other clubs that are interested.
Great.
Great. And 7910, Diana Nestorova, is she here?
Who's here from 7910? Don't do
No,
it by name.
Pam is here.
Pam is
Yeah.
here.
Pam Anastasia is here.
And
I'm
Lynn-
Steve von Lichtenberg.
Lynn Duffy O'Shea is with me, June Serrata, Steve von Lichtenberg. I was just trying to look if I missed anyone from my district. I apologize.
Yes, Terry McCarthy is here and Linda Lloyd is here.
Okay, you guys.
Hello.
Fabulous. I'm going to ask you all to do something in a second, but let's keep moving. 7870, who's here?
DG Steve Peterbaugh and PDG Nancy Russell.
Fantastic. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Nancy. Who's here from 7850?
Louisa Tripp.
Hi, Louisa. Great to see you. Anybody else?
No, as they said, we have both a pets training scheduled for tonight, as well as a zone training. So
Great.
And then you have to settle for me.
And you can handle it, Louisa. You can.
And then 7780 is, who's here from 7780?
Okay, District Governor Peggy Belanger and Assistant Governor Bob Wester.
Fantastic. Thank you, Peggy and Bob. And then from 7930.
Sounds like they got some good.
So we have no one here from
Betsy,
7930?
no, Betsy, you're here, right?
Betsy was here. I saw her.
Yeah, Betsy, I think she signed off. I'm going to text her and see what's going on.
Okay. Well, let's hope she can come back, but I am recording this so she'll get it.
We need her because she's Boston.
Right. And then 7950, who's here from 7950? Is Charlene here?
District Governor Charlene Jarrest
Hi,
and
Charlene.
Public Image Chair Art Nowak.
Awesome.
Hi, Art. How are you? Thank you,
Okay.
Charlene. I think we got everyone. That's great. Trish, good idea. Glad you did that.
That's great. We know we've got somebody from everywhere. Good.
So you should all be looking at the document that I sent out early in the week. And I've kind of painted the picture of this tour. Really, from our vantage point, it's really from our vantage point, it's really about the story of the focus of just basically being what Rotary is about, which is working together and saving lives. And so we've been through that. And again, Ted, we're thrilled you're here, and thank you for your terrific part in this. The challenge I've talked about, and you've read it, so I'm not going to go there, but I do want to now go into the logistics because we're only going to be together for an hour here. I know there are going to be lots of questions, and So here's, the tour is going to start out in Bridgeport. And the idea is that we're moving, our idea initially is that each location is going to hold a 30-minute, 45-minute, whatever length you all decide, what we're going to call a media and distribution event. And the idea here is that the truck itself will be the backdrop for the event, because the truck, it being a moving billboard, also allows us to tell our story visually to whatever media shows up. And also it is large and impactful in its visibility to wherever we're going to do this in each area. We've chosen the government centers of every town we're hitting. This is not to say this is where it needs to be. We are going to defer to each district that takes the lead on each event, and we'll get to that in a moment, to define what this looks like. But we really need that focus to tell us and to meet the criteria that we'll lay out in a few moments. But these are just the starting points. And so whether it's, you know, center city Bridgeport or downtown Boston right outside the State House, that might be tough, you know, for the Boston, Massachusetts district. So, you know, we are not beholden to these locations, but these are what we started with.
Robert, can you explain in great detail the size of the truck, what we're looking at here?
Well, we haven't finally ran the truck, but we're talking about a tractor trailer because it's going to have a skid inside it with 800,000 plus masks. So it's going to have it's going to be wrapped on all three sides with our story. The left and the right side, or the horizontal sides, are going to have the big story parts, and then the back will probably have the Rotary logo and whatnot. So it's going to be very visible.
So we're talking tractor trailers, so everybody understands. That's
Yeah.
No, wait, Robert, this is Ted.
Yeah.
Yep.
More than likely, we're going to use I think we might use a large van.
Fine.
Like a big moving van. It won't be a tractor trailer. A tractor trailer load would be probably, 1.7 million mass. So I think we can put it into a
large, one of those large rental trucks.
I'm checking on that now.
Yeah, and so this.
Robert doesn't do logistics. Robert does drama, so he goes big all the time.
That's right. So this is why this is a moving target. We're still learning a lot of stuff, and so what you're hearing may shift left of center and right of center as we move through this, but the idea is there.
Robert, could you stop sharing the screen so we can see the people who are talking?
Sure.
Ugh.
Question, go ahead, Louisa.
So are we saying that 800,000 masks fits on one pallet so we can all plan transportation appropriately? Like, I wasn't sure if 800,000 masks was an entire semi-trailer, but are we saying that 800,000 masks fits on one pallet?
No, 800,000 masks doesn't fit on. Yeah, each pallet would have, and I don't even know if they'll be on pallets, because if we're distributing, we might have to distribute them manually. Each box, which is not that heavy, has 2,000 masks.
And how big is that box, Ted? Is it like 2 feet by 1 foot by 1 foot?
Yeah,
is it like a box of a paper?
12 by 18 by 24, something like that,
Perfect. Thank you.
This is what Jack has been. Jack would normally take 30 or 40 of them boxes, which would be about,
15.
30 or 40,000 masks just in a Suburban. So
yeah, thank you.
What we'll do is we might load them in and then actually physically hand off, I don't know how many masks are going at each. Jack, how many are dropping at each stop? Maybe that's.
Well, it depends on the district, but some of the districts are taking 100,000 or more.
Right.
So 100,000 masks really, and is only 50. It's 50 of these boxes. You can move them in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think it's better than fooling around with a jack and a pallet and somebody gets
Absolutely.
hurt.
Absolutely.
And it makes a little bit more of a visual effect. You got the Rotarians with their masks on, Rotarian, whatever you want to have your logo on for your district, and you're physically taking a box, you take 50 of them and you give them out. There's 100,000. That's the best way to do it.
We
Jack, you
we
agree,
had
Jack? or-
our event,
Yeah, I agree.
people came and got 25, 30 boxes and put them in the back of their SUVs and off they went. So it's manageable totally.
Yeah. And I think the fact that, you're coming with a larger van versus a tractor trailer,
An 18-wheeler.
when you're thinking about downtown main streets.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a larger van and
Good.
we'll
Okay.
we'll
Yeah,
figure it
it's-
out. So I think that's the way you distribute it. And then you would distribute off the back of the van. You would distribute them down to somebody on the ground. So somebody can easily hand off 50 boxes in 10 minutes. It's not a
Thank you.
I mean, our thinking is that it's going to be a 30-minute minimum stop once we start at the moment where we set the event to begin. And so we'll get to the event in a second, the media event and the distribution event. But are there any other questions regarding logistics? Go ahead, Art.
Yeah, I have a question. It would be good to know as soon as we can the size of the truck because it may have impact, as I think somebody mentioned,
Where?
on where in a congested city it can go.
Correct. Yep, you're absolutely correct. Once we have that, that's going to be out to you, and we're going to try and communicate pretty heavily with you as once things start moving and changing.
Art, I think what Ted indicated, imagine a large U-Haul van, not a truck, a van, but a big one, not like a minivan, a big van. That's what he said.
Yeah, it's going to be like it'll be like a 22 to 24 foot van that you'd see for a moving, it'd be a U-Haul van. We'll rent a U-Haul van. I'll check on the sizes. I'll help you out and check on the sizes and make sure, Robert and Jack, that the cubic measure for the van is appropriate for what we have to do.
Yes, because we haven't ordered the banner yet, and once we have that size, then we'll order the banner. So
That's fine. Perfect.
Yeah.
This is the same size van that we had the last time we did this in Milford. And that went by pretty quick.
right.
And the other thing we could think about doing
It
is,
will fit on Beacon Hill, it will fit in the city, it will fit, it's
Yeah.
going to be fine. It's going to be fine in every one of these locations, Robert, I'll tell you right now. It'll be fine.
I've got another suggestion for you guys, and you all brainstorm on it.
Let me see if I,
Somewhere in New England, there is a Rotarian who has a moving business. And it would be nice maybe if we find a Rotarian who's got a moving van, which would be the appropriate size and not big trailers, and would be willing to, donate the van for 340.
Great suggestion.
Art, do you have,
we have a member in Providence who owns a moving company and has been very cooperative to Rotary over the years. I will
There you go. That's
get
perfect.
his case.
Art, if you could pass that information back to me, and we'll start that dialogue. That's great.
Okay.
I just want to interrupt for 1 second. Betsy Manzelli lost power, so she can't get in. But I did text her and told her it is being recorded.
Great. Thanks a lot.
I have a question. I think I understand that the mask truck is going to move to these locations in each district. And then the district is going to come get the mask there. And that's the big publicity event for the district. So the district is being responsible for the publicity and the distribution of the mask to the clubs. And they can bring whatever manpower they need to the distribution point.
Correct.
So that's what's going on, right?
Correct. And we're going to dive into that next because there are specifics that because we in 7980 had our own distribution event and media event back in May, which was very successful. And so we have some ways where we can assist and provide best practices, but at the end of the day, it's each district's event. And so we're going to give you a template and then you can take it and use it in any fashion you wish. And we just want to be connected with it because when we drive up, based on the timing of how we've set things up, we want to be able to set things up and go. And we'll get to that in a moment. Any other questions before we move forward? Bob, did you have a question? Bob Wester? No? Okay. Go ahead, Louisa.
None of these events are in District 7850. So can we help 7870 with Concord and Rutland?
That's the plan.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's exactly
And
the
we're going to talk about that next because it's really critical we support each other. So thanks,
Great.
Louisa. That's great. So, so the event, let's talk about the event. The event is really meant to be a place to tell your story in your district and to open up the door to allow media to see and hear that story. But it's also a place for you to distribute the materials that we're going to be providing, as well as give a chance for you to allow local officials to connect into Rotary and also bring in first responders and EMT practitioners with their vehicles and really present the story of supporting the first responders and essential workers in a way that will I think resonate for the media that you may invite. We're going to provide from a public image standpoint, because we've done this, we have a press release and a media alert that we can provide as a template. But you'll then take that, and we'll have that to you within the next week or so, and you'll take that and then invent it for your district, and then you'll be responsible for making sure that the media and the local officials that you would like to invite to speak, setting up a speaking, a 15-minute or 10-minute speaking introduction and presentation that the media can shoot or listen to or take pictures of, and allow Rotarians who have a story to tell, have first responders and essential workers to tell their story that may be the beneficiary of these masks. And this is really up to you. You're going to tell, this is a place to allow you to creatively put your story in front of the public for this distribution event. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Kevin, did you have a question?
Robert, did you happen to videotape the media event in June for District 7980?
Well, it's so funny you asked that. Kyle is here, and yes, we did. Kyle is our videographer from our communications team.
You might want to share that with everyone so that they can see what that event was like.
Well, it's just so funny that I happen to have a digital copy of it, and I will send that off to you all this evening. It may come to you in the form of a YouTube link, and you don't have to download it, you just have to play it. So I will send that off. I will also, just for fun, I will send you off the media release that we sent with this. It may not be the template you'll get because we're still working on that, but I'll send that off to you so you can see what we did. Because we got 3 television stations and we got a tremendous amount of print press from it, and it really told the story quite well. And we had our Lieutenant Governor Susan Bicewicz from Hartford come down as the keynote, and of course Trish was our MC. So you'll see all of that in the video.
So you need to touch base with whether it's the mayor, the first selectman, somebody, a person in your community who will come and be there. And that brings the media. But what tells the story is if you can get some recipients there to tell the story of what a difference getting this from Rotary will mean, because that's what the media they glom right onto that and they love it. And so, Mark was there. And so, you guys need to do the local stuff because they don't know us from a hole in the wall, but they know you. And so you need to go.
And there are 4 governors that are.
Right. So, hi. I mean, I went to the governor and I know the lieutenant governor personally, and that's how I got her. So, and it was wonderful and it helped. It was great. So you got to bring in, I always say you need a little Hollywood, but then once you get Hollywood there, you need to make the story pathos. Mark.
So are we going to do the same thing? Are you guys going to have another media event in Milford?
No, we're gonna do it in every city. We're
No,
gonna.
no, I'm saying, are you starting out in like Bridgeport? You're gonna do every city? Because I have a contact, we're already set up in Hartford to have Ned Lamont there.
Oh, I
Good.
trust Mr. Glass.
So I was saying, are we gonna do a joint one like we did down?
Well, what we were talking about, Mark, was because we're going to play off of what we already did, we were going to leverage that and invite the electronic media and the press to either one of the cities we have in our district. We have 3 cities: New London, Bridgeport, and of course in Hartford. So we'll work. I think we need to coordinate together because we don't want to minimize what might happen in Hartford with Ned Lamont being there. So that's a great.
Yeah.
And it's
And
all.
I have contacts in other media stations too that will be there. One of my neighbors is on TV all the time and stuff. So, so I have contacts there. So I don't know if you want to do.
No,
that's
I
what
think we need to share.
No.
This is the kind of dialogue we have to be between ourselves because we
Yeah.
don't want to usurp another. We want to leverage the success. So that's good.
But the idea is that Hartford would be an event. There'll be another event in Rutland, another event.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I understand that. And Bridgeport and New Haven will be events also.
That will be local. So we're gonna get Ganem in Bridgeport, and we're gonna get Elliker in New Haven. But if we could get Lamont in Hartford, that would be the bomb.
Yeah, I think he's already scheduled in for that. I just
Are you
didn't have the
going-
time.
Jack, are you going to Rutland? And where's your drop off in Vermont?
Rutland.
Rutland's
I have
your
a
drop-
question on that. I have a
Go ahead.
question. This is Nancy, and I am in Vermont. So I'm asking, why did we choose, why was Rutland chosen?
So totally ignorant. If you want to change it, I'd be happy to have you change it.
Are you
So
sure?
You can figure
Well,
it
it will,
out.
for one thing, it will put the vehicle that has all of the masks in it an hour closer to Concord. You're pushing it really close to do 3 hours to get everything
You're
and get
right.
set up in Concord. If you don't mind, I would really like to change it to White River. I know all of the people here. We've got a perfect place that this vehicle can be put at. We've got a
Lebanon could help.
station right
Yeah.
here.
That's perfect, Nancy.
Yeah.
Right across the border from New Hampshire, it is so much closer.
Yeah.
That's right. White River Junction, is that what that is?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's
Okay,
on the
great.
border with 7850.
Yeah.
Great
Right on
idea,
board.
Nancy.
The
Got
only
it.
problem
Hey.
with that, Nancy, is you
So-
might have 18 inches of snow in October.
No, no,
That's where you'll have a problem if you have it in Rutland, because you're not going to get over those mountains.
we ordered it for
So-
November 1st, Mark.
So Nancy,
Yeah.
just send me the details on White River.
I will.
That's great,
And,
Nancy. Appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah, like we said at the beginning, this is a moving picture and you all are very much involved. And if you feel that we need to change anything in this story, just let us know. We're not, this is not set in stone.
You know,
I'll send
We're gonna
pictures
get
with
from Concord, New Hampshire to Portland, Maine by 4 o'clock. Did you map this out?
Yeah.
This is all, before this, it was less than that. No,
Just looked at this for the first time. Yeah. Okay.
No, it's all been done with MapQuest. So, but
we'll adjust accordingly. We're
we'll
going to go
adjust.
through that and flesh it out even more.
if you'd like, I'm very close to, because I've helped them out with Mass and they owe me a little bit. I could contact Governor Scott from Vermont and see if he could get down to the presentation or to the media.
That'd be wonderful.
Yes.
He's a good friend of Rotary. He knows Rotary and he's
Yes,
a
he does.
Rotary. So
Yes.
that would be great, Ted.
Well,
And
I could get in touch with him and ask him if he could be there, and I'm sure he would do that.
That'd be great.
That would be
Please do that, Ted. Yes, that'd be
Fantastic.
wonderful.
Yes.
So-
And two of the local representatives, one of the senators, one of the representatives are close friends too. So I'll get it from that approach. You get it from him. Okay?
Fantastic.
Great.
And and just so you understand, there is going to be obviously the district governor in each district is here.
Right.
We're going to have a lead person, whether that's the district governor or someone they designate as the lead in that district. But then we need the very special thing, and that is the stage manager for the event.
Right.
There needs to be someone at the event who's in charge of moving the staff and the support crew, the support team from Rotary to make sure that event is a success. They're the
Got
ones
it.
that are going to manage the show flow, the itinerary of what's happening. They're going to say go. They're going to say that's the person that we want to interface with from as we move in. That's who we want. So we're going to need to define that. And before we leave tonight, we need to know who has that, who doesn't, because we need to start framing that. So you see how the logistics play into that process. That's going to be key.
Yes.
And you may not know it now, and that's okay. But within the next week, by the end of next week, we need to have that locked down.
We need to have a stage manager from each district. That's what he's saying.
Well, from each event.
location.
Well, from each location. Yeah.
Right. There could be two districts focused on one location, but we need one person that's going to be the point person.
Right.
And I'm calling them the stage manager.
Perfect.
Got it.
So, see, Trish said I had a theatrical background. I'm using the term. So, okay. So that's the media event part of it. But let's talk about the actual stage hand part of it, the logistics, the pieces. So the event site we talked about the backdrop of the truck, the van is no longer, so I'm taking tractor trailer out of the document, it's becoming a van. Once we have the size, we'll clear that up. But that van in some fashion will be in the frame of the event, so that there's something, if electronic media comes, they'll have a backdrop. You don't have to worry about building a backdrop. We're going to bring it to you.
But we want first responders there also, right? Do we still want to see if we get the local fire department?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about
Right.
that in a moment, because that's real important. But the second thing is when we get there, we need to have a stage and a sound system. So we need to have a podium, a stage, and a sound system. Now, we all in Rotary have portable stuff that we go out and do. It's important that you identify something that can do the job. If you have a challenge with that, you need to let us know. We're going to try and be available to have a backup, but we'd rather not have to drive in and then set that up. We'd rather be set up so we can hit the ground running and start. What I'm thinking about for a stage is 4x8 or 8x16 inches with a foot rise, or if you have an area that is raised from a platform standpoint, like a grassy area that's above the street, that would be fine. But we need to have a place where we can be somehow set above the audience just by a little bit.
Robert,
Peggy wants to talk.
what if it was on the steps of City Hall? Would that be okay? Or
Absolutely. Absolutely. The only challenge with that is getting the truck in there to be, so we would have to get a permit to drive the truck up on and getting near the steps. So you need to think about these things as a district and as a lead and as a stage manager, to think about how you're going to tell the story visually and frame that image that's going to be shot by your local television station or your videographer that's going to videotape it for you. This is important, because any video you take of this, you can reuse as part of your district and tell the story about this event that you were part of.
The only problem, excuse me, Bob,
Yep.
the only problem with using steps, like I was thinking of the Capitol, the steps at the Capitol,
Yeah.
is the weather. If it's raining,
Right.
so we'd have
Or
to
snowy.
set up tents and things if it is raining to do that. So be careful if we're doing, it should be a covered event like we did in Milford at the pavilion.
Right. Yeah.
Right. We had a pavilion in Milford where if it were going to rain, we were going to move inside the pavilion, but there's a parking lot right in front. So we found a great site. That's why we're not holding it in stone on these locations. We want you to scope out your community and find the right place that allows you to transition if there is inclement weather. But of course, it's not going to rain, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
So Robert, Peggy had something she wanted.
Go ahead, Peggy.
That's okay. I think my question got answered because, the Portland City Hall has a great, steps, but then it has a great platform, but I hear the possibility of being prepared for inclement weather. So.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it's early October. Hopefully it'll be dry, but yeah, we got to be thinking about that side of it and keep our fingers crossed that's set. So sound system, podium and stage, tables, you need a couple of tables on either side because we're probably going to want to take a few of those boxes out of the back of the truck and have them as props to show that we have stuff that we're giving away prior to giving it away. And I would recommend, if we can, to have them covered with skirting that's of rotary blue, either azure or navy, so that it's just not a blank wooden table of some kind.
Did you
But
say azure?
I did. That is a true rotary branded color, azure blue. So we talked about the speaker coordination that we're going to leave to you in terms of the officials, the local officials, what Rotary members you want to have speak, what recipients you want to have tell a story. Obviously, keeping it brief. Our recommendation is keeping it the speaking 10 to 15 minutes, and then go right into the distribution from that vantage point. From a Rotarian standpoint, it is really important to have your Rotary members participate in this. We had, at the time we did it in May, it was really that time where we were shut down or we were starting to reopen, and we made it very, very sparse. And we had the social distancing police out from Rotary, making sure we were all separated. Obviously, things are a little different in New England today, though, but we want to be cognizant of the idea that if people are going to look at this, we want to make sure that we are telling a story that is social distanced and hitting the mode that we need to hit in terms of perception. So that's real important. But I think somebody out here's got 150 Rotarians that may be descending on Vermont. Is that correct?
That's Nancy. Yeah.
Nancy.
That's me.
So
That's
obviously which I think is fantastic.
Yes, you need a big space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
So, and that's a great thing because we want to hear, the noise is going to be great. That's great to have the cheers and from the stories. I mean, this is going to be fantastic, especially if we get Governor Scott there and others. It's going to be terrific. So
Can you go by that again? Somebody's got 150 Rotarians where?
In Vermont.
That will be at White River Junction.
Oh, that's great. So you've got Rotarians from around the state that are going to come, or is it just?
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, that's incredible. That's great. That's really, that's great.
And so what Nancy's doing, I urge all of you to do in a way that you feel comfortable. We're not requiring any numbers, but we do want Rotarians there. It's going to be an exciting moment, and it's a chance for us to get out in front. We're opening up a media opportunity, and obviously we're handing out the masks.
And these days when we have limited opportunities to come together as Rotarians, I think this gives one in a safe way that makes people feel really good about being in Rotary and motivates them to say, okay, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go to the next thing. I'm going to do the next thing. It's a real boost. So bring them, Nancy. I mean, I think it'll be.
The next thing is the first responders and essential workers. First of all, first responders, having an ambulance, a fire truck, or a police car alongside the truck, alongside the visual frame that is going to be looked at by the electronic media and whatnot is really powerful. We had it at our event and it made a difference. We also had first responders in the audience in their blue and their attire. And I will not forget when Lieutenant Governor Bicewicz may take a moment and pointed to them and said, "Thank you. You all are amazing." And you'll see that when you see the video, which you'll get later tonight. So it was great to have them there. And then, of course, those essential workers and those recipients who are going to get the boxes, you might pick 1, 2, or 3 of them out to tell a story, to be on the dais and with you, and to share in their, let them tell their story and embrace Rotary for the ability to get these masks at a time when they need it. So that's the other side of this. And then the last thing is the media. Well, the second to last thing is the media. The ability to get the media that you have out there, let them all know. So if you don't have a media list, you might want to go to your local political connector and have them see if you can get one from them. That's what we did. The governor's office provided us their list. We didn't have one at the time to the scope that we were able to get, and get that together, and then start letting people know, that this is happening. We're going to send you a template of a media alert that you can get out to all the television stations and all the print vehicles and all of the radio stations. We're also going to send you the press release template, and the media alert we would recommend you send out a week to 10 days before the event. The press release, you can send them a day or two before the event or the day of the event. We hand it out the day of the event because they don't need it until then. They're coming to the story. They walk away with their video or their talking points that they write down along with the press release. It has all the facts. It's got the about your district. It's got the about the zone. It's got the about all of the other things you want to tell in there. And we'll give you the template so that you have all the tools to add that in. And then listen, this is where you can creatively say, you know what? Our district has something special that we want to add to this. We don't want to tell you that you can't do X, Y, or Z, because every district's different, every region's different. You need to find what's unique. If there's something that's important that you want to include from your district or from your region that you want to make sure is on the platform of this, by all means, put it there. But let's be transparent. Let's make sure that we all know it. What we'd like to see happen is we'd love to get a final kind of stamped copy of what this thing's going to look like a few days before we head out.
Robert, are we going to gather again before this?
Oh, yes. We've already got the next meeting scoped out, which we'll talk about before we leave. This is going to be, over the course of the next 3 weeks, we're going to be meeting multiple times. But we'll work it out. We've got the next meeting, an idea of when. We want to make sure we get feedback from you. We know we didn't anticipate tonight to be a problem, but we knew it might be, and it is. So we want to try and alleviate that for the next one and get everyone on. So I think you understand the public image. I think you understand that. The last piece is the documentary. We have engaged tentatively and we're looking at, we haven't finalized, a videographer, filmmaker to do this documentary that's going to travel with us. They're going to be in Boston if that's where it happens when the ship comes in, and we're going to videotape the Panama Canal. We're going to tell the journey story, and then we're going to interview. And these interviews may happen prior to, during, and after the event. There might be Zoom interviews. There might be face-to-face interviews on site. We want to know what they are beforehand, but there might be ad hoc interviews. This professional videographer will be working very closely with Kyle, who's here, Kyle Clark, in the editing after the event. And we are going to put together what we hope will be a short but highly effective story that can be digitally placed on your website, that can tell the story that we're telling. And who knows? I mean, listen, again, Trish said it, I'm thinking big, but there's no reason why this story can't be submitted to local film festivals. There is a story to be told about Rotary, and this is a Rotary story that is not just inside Rotary. We've got to spread our wings from a public image standpoint, let the world know, and kind of remove ourselves from being the best kept secret in a lot of corners of our world. And so, every chance we get, we're going to do it. So we want to have that dialogue, not right now, but we want you thinking about that. I know there's a lot of film festivals across New England. That's my business, so I'm involved in a bunch of them. But if you have connections, I know there's a great film festival. Telluride comes to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and there's others. So there's ways to get this part of that. So we'll play that out. And just wanted to let you know that is in the thinking. That is it. Any questions?
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
The other PDGs on here know that this is what happens. PDGs like to talk, right? So, Rotary has been connected to being a real warriors in terms of polio. We jumped in there with Bill Gates. We went to India. We went to Africa. We did that, right? We responded. But this is close to home. This is at home. This is in our backyards. This is in our houses, unfortunately. It's in our schools. So what we want to do is send a message that Rotary reaches out, reacts, and responds. This is what we do. And we don't—
People of action.
Yes, we don't just do it overseas. We do it right here in our backyard, and in partnership with foundations and organizations like Ted Rossi. And, Ted Rossi, we call him our Bill Gates. Did you know that, Ted? So anyway, this is our moment to do that. We have an opportunity here to connect the dots with people and say, oh, you don't just do polio, you do this too. So this is our opportunity to show people that Rotary, as Louisa said, we're people of action in your backyard, in your school, in your hospital, in your nursing home, in your grocery store.
So, thank you, Trish. Now, one last thing, and then I'm going to break this up because we've been at this for an hour. So I want to go through East District, and I want to know whether you have your stage manager, and who I think your district lead is. We know who your DG is. So in District 7980, we know Ron Webb is the district governor. We know, I believe Jeff Krause is the district lead. Is that right, Ron? Ron
Yes.
Webb?
Yeah.
But we don't have a media event manager per se, but we have enough of us that this is our district. So we'll figure that out because we have 3 cities we need to deal with. 7890, Northern Connecticut, Mark
Yep.
Glass.
Okay, so Joanne Alfieri is going to be the contact, okay, because she didn't come to this meeting. And the DGN, who didn't come to this meeting, is going to be the stage manager for Hartford.
And is that Andy?
No, that's Randy Chappelle. And the stage manager, I'm going to need another one for Springfield, so I don't have that one yet.
All right, well, we'll address that.
Yeah, I'll get that to you, Bob.
So basically 7890 in Hartford is going to be Randy Chappelle as the stage manager.
Stage manager, yes.
All right, that's what I want to know. In Springfield, Mass, you don't know who the stage manager is yet, right?
I don't know who the stage manager is going to be.
But that's also, if I'm not mistaken, that's also near 7910, right?
Yeah, but not, Springfield isn't in 7910, Sturbridge.
Oh, are you Sturbridge?
No, I'm Brookline. I'm near.
Oh, you're farther. Okay, got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no. Springfield.
7910's a big district.
Okay.
So
All
I'll
right,
take
so-
care of 7890. I'll get the stage manager to you,
Okay.
Bob. Either tonight or tomorrow. You'll have
Okay.
somebody.
And Rutland, Vermont, who's going to be the stage manager on that?
We're going to change Rutland to
going-
White
Sorry,
River.
not Rutland, White River Junction.
That'll be me.
District number, Robert.
7870.
7870 or 7850?
7870.
And who's the stage manager?
That'll be me, Nancy Russell.
Awesome. Thank
We're
you.
gonna, 7850 is gonna help with that one.
Right.
Great.
Thank you.
And in Concord, New Hampshire, same thing, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the stage manager at that location?
We'll still work on that one.
Okay.
Okay, so you got to get the numbers, Robert. You can't do the times.
All right. 7870 and 7850 Concord, New Hampshire.
We got that. No, 7870, 7850 is Vermont.
Well, we got 2 locations that
Two
we're,
locations, Trish.
Come on.
Trish, we got 2 locations. We got Rutland and we've got, I'm sorry, White River Junction and Concord, New Hampshire, both southern Connecticut and southern New Hampshire.
Right.
So Nancy Russell's taking White River Junction, and a question mark we'll have by the end of next week for Concord, right?
Right.
Got it. Portland, Maine, 7780. Who's the stage manager?
I'm working, I haven't confirmed it, but we're looking at Laura Young. And, and she has contact with the Portland mayor, so.
Got it. Okay, so I'll put her down as a question mark, and then we can verify by the end of next week. 7930, I guess that's Boston. We don't know that because she's not on the call. Betsy's not on the call, so we'll get that. Providence, Rhode Island, 7950.
Well, I did that
Speak
stuff
on mute,
with
Charlie.
Nancy 40 years ago, so I guess I could do that.
And who is that?
Art,
Oh, Art Norwalk. Got it. Thanks, Art. Okay. And then, so, all right. So we've got half of it done. I'm going to send you out between now and the end of beginning of next week. I'll send you out an update with what we have. You can send back and fill Jack and I in. I think that we should include everyone on our communication so we're all transparent. I don't want to go to a Slack or something like that, which we could do, but it's just too, I don't think we need to. I think we'll stay within group email. And if we need to go off channel, we'll go off channel. And that's that. The next meeting, Jack and I were talking and wanted to do it next week. But we know there's a lot of zone stuff happening in the evening. So we thought, how do you all feel about a Friday morning at 8 a.m.?
Works for me.
The zone stuff's happening Tuesday and Thursday. So any other night is free.
Yeah, but Wednesday night, I've got things Wednesday night because there's a whole big zone thing happening Wednesday and that I'm involved in. And
how about Monday night?
Is Friday morning no good for you, Mark?
Anytime's good for me, but.
So Friday's no good for you, Peggy?
No, I already have a commitment to a fundraiser.
Got it. I mean, I know we're not gonna be able to get everyone on this, but what other options besides Friday morning at 8 a.m. that everyone can agree on?
I mean, if I'm the only one, I'll get Laura, and Bob is on. Bob has offered to help, so.
Peggy, and what we're gonna do, Peggy, is if anybody can't make it, we're gonna do what we did tonight. We're gonna record it so that everyone's gonna always get a recording of the meeting. And I'll make sure that that happens. So is everyone good for 8 a.m. next Friday? The good news is, I'll tell you why I kind of like that. Our communications committee is meeting Thursday early evening. And our hope is that we will codify a lot of items related to that so that we can share that with you on Friday morning and the weekend.
Okay.
And so and I think that also gives you a week, because it's basically Friday morning now for all intents and purposes, gives you a week to get your ducks in a row. And by the way, you all have my contact information. You have Jack's contact information. I'm going to include Trisha's information on the sheet as well, because I'm pulling her in from a logistics standpoint. And the three of us are going to kind of drive the communications of this. And we'll just keep this dialogue in a very transparent mode as we continue forward. I want to thank all of you. This has been a great way of just kicking this off. I want to thank Ted. Thank you so much, Ted, for the allowing us to make this happen. Absolutely. And Jack, thank you for your tutelage and your glue in bringing us all together, because you are the glue maker in terms of of what we've done here in this arena. So all of us, thank you for what you're about to get involved in and do in the next 25 days. The Acela is leaving the station. I'll leave it at that.
And I'd just like to say, feel free if there's something that isn't working in your location or thing, feel free to push back and tell us what's not working. Absolutely. And we'll figure out how to make it work.
Absolutely. We're going to be problem solvers in this together. So
great.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And I'll send up something off.
Bye-bye.
Tonight. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
Night.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.